Well, I'd say we'd be 16 minutes late, but I had no way of knowing exactly what time the show was going to finish up. So real quick, if you've been following along with the network for a while, you know that because of me moving to Orlando several months ago, almost a year ago, it's crazy, isn't it? The day after the Oscars is literally when I moved to Orlando. So yeah, it's been almost a year now. It's crazy. And a lot of incredibly amazing things and very unexpected amazing things have happened in that time frame. They're continuing to happen as 2018 starts off with a bang.
101.
Yeah, no lie. So because of that factor, we have obviously changed everything from recap videos to podcasts. So we're going to be doing podcasts now for every one of not only our award show predictions, but after every award show finishes, we're going to be talking all about the show. So real quick, before we get started, the one thing I will say before, if you guys remember anything we've talked about in the past, I don't know what Ashley does, but I know AJ and myself always have a tradition when it comes to the Golden Globes. AJ, did the tradition continue tonight?
I feel like this is a bit irrelevant, but yes.
No, it's not irrelevant because the tradition did continue for myself as well. Right before the Golden Globes started, we always have a celebratory, well, not really celebratory, but I guess you would say, in some way, I guess you would say. But we have a meal before the award show, and sometimes it's one of those like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, what possibly could happen? And for the Golden Globes, we always had McDonald's because Golden Globes equals Golden Arches. And I'm going to change some things around this year because Critics' Choice is pretty much whatever we choose. The Stags was always East of Chicago pizza, which I don't have here, so I'll probably have to get some sort of a pizza. One of the things that I'm excited about is the BAFTAs is fish and chips, which I'm actually going to eat a Bubba Gump this time around because it makes more sense to me. The Spirit Awards, for some reason, always was KFC. I never could explain that one. And I think we just wanted an excuse to eat KFC. And the Oscars was always Buffalo Wild Wings. Most of those will continue for me, at least, this year. I'm sure AJ will concur.
Probably.
Yeah.
See, the issue for me is it's 1 a.m, so the only place that would be open is McDonald's. So it'd just be McDonald's every bloody time. Just have to get something different off the menu.
Well, that's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. So we've got the podcast.
The point being, we see the Golden Globes as nothing more than cheap fast food. That's what we're trying to say.
Yes, but cheap fast food that can predict the Oscars too.
What was I thinking about? That reminds me. I think McDonald's sponsored the Game Awards, which, by the way, is where the hashtag "fuck the Oscars" comes from. Which I might start saying when we get to the Oscar predictions because the Game Awards.
Welcome, Jeremy Mills to chat.
At the post show, because it was, I think, Uber Eats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting McDonald's deliveries to you via Uber. At the post show for this Game Awards thing, which is like the closest thing to the gaming version of the Oscars.
Right.
All the food that was there was McDonald's.
I mean, honestly, well, really. I mean, to be quite honest, when it comes down to it, I was going to use Uber Eats to get McDonald's so I could continue tradition. But luckily, out of nowhere, John Paul gets a hold of me and says, hey, let's go to Disney for a couple hours. And I was like, yeah, we could totally do that. Oh, by the way, let's go to McDonald's afterwards before you drop me back off so I can continue tradition.
But the reasoning here is kind of irrelevant, though, because the real reason we want to go with McDonald's for the Globes is because it's very close to sounding like.
All right.
Because he fucking won, you dumbass.
Well, first off, number one, you cut out before you said anything.
Yeah, that was brilliant. It was like, literally, it was like Owen pressed the mute button as if to go, no, I'm not allowed.
It's like you said McDonough's name. I know you did, but that's the reason why I stopped, because it stopped literally dead in its tracks.
I literally thought your brain just fried for no reason.
There's only one guy called McDonough.
Hey now. There's many reasons for my brain to fry tonight. Trust me. So the thing is, this is a very interesting night to say the least. Now, I of course don't have television anymore, so I had to use alternate means to be able to watch the show. Luckily, there were running NBC was actually airing on their website the full telecast. The only problem was, I couldn't get it to work. So I had to find alternate means to watch the show, and it's going to be how I watch the rest of the awards coming up moving forward. So let's talk about the actual awards ceremony itself. I didn't get a chance to watch the pre-show at all because, like I said, I was trying to get back from McDonald's and everything because we actually sat and ate inside. So is there anything of worth that happened during the pre-show?
It was literally what it always is, just them being interviewed.
Was the NBC one any different to the Facebook one?
Oh, wait, no, there was one thing.
Okay, right ahead.
There was one moment when they showed Chrissy Metz on the red carpet, but the name that came up was Halle Berry. That's the most notable thing that happened, from what I saw anyway.
Well, I mean, it's something.
Where was David?
They talked about the whole wearing black thing, but we all knew all that was going to be the main topic.
Right, of course. That makes sense.
Where was David Finlay?
That's a good question, actually. Welcome. It's just a simple story to chat. What do you think about the Best Actress category, Frances McDormand for the Oscar? We got a lot to discuss about that. We got a whole Academy Awards podcast to be doing in the near future to talk about that. But we can go into that just a little bit tonight.
Let's get through the TV stuff first, because that's sort of
let's get TV out of the way. First off, let's talk about our host. I'm seeing a lot of I'm seeing a lot of people that are they're kind of praising him for his performance. I was kind of like, I was a tad bit preoccupied, so I wasn't able to really take in what he was saying, but the social media presence that I've seen really was giving a lot of accolades his way, to be honest, for doing
the opening monologue speech. The opening monologue speech thing was solid. There were some interesting jibes at Harvey Weinstein is going to be the only guy in 20 years' time you boo him when he comes up on the in memoriam screen.
Oh boy!
And even and then he threw something about Kevin Spacey out, saying how he couldn't do a Southern accent, and the crowd hopefully went, "Oh," and then rightfully Seth went, "Wait, you're reacting like that to Kevin Spacey despite everything? Really?" So it's well, he ain't going to be back in Hollywood anytime
soon. Again, to be quite honest, think about it this way. The Boss Baby is still chugging along, so there you go.
Well, that's Alec Baldwin, remember?
For better or worse.
Why didn't they get Alec Baldwin to place him in All the Money in the World? They did it with Boss Baby.
Yeah, makes sense.
And again, he probably wouldn't be a reliable Getty.
I mean, like I said, after watching All the Money in the World, I can't see anybody but Plummer.
If that's the case, can we replace Colin Firth with Ben Whishaw in the Kingsman films now as well?
Interesting concept.
If we're going on the Paddington role,
I can't wait to see Paddington this coming weekend.
Believe the hype.
Oh, I'm sure. AJ, have any thoughts on Seth Meyers before we move forward?
But yeah,
I liked the North Korea joke directed at Seth Rogen.
Oh yes, it was the
nice.
What was it? Remember all that North Korea stuff? You did it before it was trendy. Which was, pretty good.
Also, while we're on the subject of Plummer, do you realize when you cut straight from Kirk Douglas to Christopher Plummer how youthful Christopher Plummer looks?
Oh my gosh. So wrong, but it's absolutely true.
They should have really put it to scale and like, in, you know, from Florida Project in there, or Jacob Tremblay, cut to them like, ah.
Seth Rogen really loves that the room, not room with Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay joke. I think he's told that. I think he's made that little quip every single time he mentions the room by name in interviews.
You know, I'm not surprised at all.
Well, it's like Coco, not Coco before Chanel. You know, Dunkirk, not that one. No, but there's been I think, was there another film called Lady Bird somewhere down the line?
I mean, there could have been a movie about the First Lady, potentially.
Yeah, I'm like all one word rather than Lady Space Bird.
I mean, before I knew anything about what Lady Bird was, before I even did any homework, I was wondering what exactly it would be about, and I was thinking it'd be about Lady Bird Johnson.
I guess the biggest confusing one will be Battle of the Sexes. Are we talking the documentary, or are we talking the partly fictionalized drama documentary?
It's anyone's guess.
The thing also about Lady Bird was I had kind of assumed it was going to be like a period movie, but I didn't realize that period was going to be as recent as fucking 2002.
Oh, yeah.
All the stills from the thing don't make it look like it's 2002.
No. Well, I mean, I don't really remember much about 2002 off the top of my head, other than the fact that I was working at the theater back then, and a couple of other things in life that have since moved on.
So in terms of the TV, I guess, unsurprisingly, and I think AJ pretty much called it in every sense, Big Little Lies pretty much swept the board. I guess you did go for Jessica Lange for Feud.
I completely fucked up the TV categories, except for... That wasn't the only thing either, but yeah, I really fucked up.
We got Handmaid's Tale, Big Little Lies, and Laura Dern.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we were even tonight. When you tallied everything up, we all had 10 points tonight.
Especially since we're still riding the fuck Will and Grace train that the Globe started years ago.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, apparently so.
So, looking back to last year, it's partly a bad night for me and Owen, because we had 12 and 11. I had 12, Owen had 11. AJ had 7 last year. So, AJ, despite the fact you screwed up in TV to some extent, you really came back in the film.
I appreciate you putting that as nicely as possible, because I really fucked up too.
Well, I'm just looking. I had 4. Owen had...
I did terrible.
1, 2, 3, 4. Owen had 4. And you had... No, you had 4 as well. We actually all had the same across the film and the TV. We all relatively fucked up because... And this is one thing that I should have called. The big one that I should have seen. Sterling K. Brown wasn't actually nominated last year for This Is Us. The only awards that it got was Best Series, and I think Mandy Moore and somebody else won that was Halle Berry on the carpet. AJ, I can't remember the name. Them two, they were nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Sterling K. Brown did not get any recognition, despite everything else that happened because, I mean, the Critics' Choice Awards were the same week last year, I think, weren't they?
Was this also, it wasn't just last year though that he was up for American Crime Story instead?
Oh, did he win that? Right. So it's a different category.
Yeah, he won for Jeremy Cochran.
Yeah. That's why I'm getting confused. So technically he won back to back, but not in the same category. But
I think he won the Emmy, but I don't think he won anything else because he also he was battling with Courtney B. Vance as well. But I can't remember who was leading it. That was a weird situation.
So yeah, but supporting actress, me and AJ both got Laura Dern. AJ got Skarsgård right for best supporting actor.
Of course.
Owen with the sort of out of nowhere for Nicole Kidman for Big Little Lies.
Do not bet against Moulin Rouge, good sir. Literally, I win.
Kidman was the safe option. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, except for the whole a legend playing a legend thing. But I mean, yeah.
You went against one of your favorite actresses too. That's the bad thing.
It was probably a fear of jinxing her, actually. Kind of like how I said in my Florida Project review, I am so jinxing Willem Dafoe right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a better one for you, and I'll say it now. You do realize what's happening right now is the fact that you yourself will give all the love in the world to I, Tonya because of your dislike for the movie. It's going to be reversed from what it normally is.
I will say, when they did supporting actress, I wish I hadn't eaten already. The urge to puke was just right there.
God.
Owen picked up another point with Ewan McGregor for Fargo.
Do not bet against Christian and Satine. Ever.
That's the shitty thing about doing predictions, is I wanted Ewan McGregor to win, but because my prediction was wrong, I forgot I wanted him to win and got pissed off.
Oh, yeah, like, obviously being super happy that Sam Rockwell won when I had Richard Jenkins in the first place.
Perhaps this means that, Disney might actually do the Obi-Wan movie with him.
Hi, Cassie. Welcome to chat.
Then we all got it wrong for, well, the signals should have been, as you said, AJ, with all the adverts that make Rachel Brosnahan winning for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel for Best Actress in Comedy.
Yeah, I totally did not see that coming because she's like the one here I've heard the least about. So
because it's only on Amazon.
No, it's not that. It's just the thing that bugs me about the whole thing with the show is the fact that it's been rolling stock on AMC Movies for the last month and a half, and I completely forgot about it.
I mean, people know who she is because of House of Cards, but I think that's about it.
And also, I don't know how well it's done over here because it's like very American culture stuff. I know it's been on Amazon. I could have watched it. I haven't. Probably because this full season only just came out like 6 weeks ago. So, thing is, they already commissioned 2 seasons, so it's guaranteed another one at least. And probably with this award and then might as well skip to it now, the musical or comedy main award is probably already commissioned for a third, I'm guessing. Probably. We also had Aziz Ansari.
Yes.
Finally pick up a Globe for Master at None.
I really appreciate the fact that he literally thanked Italy for all the food he had on set.
Also, considering he went to a rival school of mine, thanks to Kit Harington for saying I love Dick. I could quote that as much as possible.
Kind of funny seeing him in this setting all dressed up after we watched him get thrown out of a bar 2 days ago.
Oh boy.
Everybody else see that footage?
No.
That's pretty awesome, and I'm going to have to mute this and watch.
I've got something to find on from Friday.
When you watch it, it's actually pretty uneventful. Like, it's much more. It sounds more exciting than it actually is. He just got a little out of hand and drunk during a pool game, and they pushed him out the door. That's it.
So he didn't get thrown out the front door like Jazz on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh my god, if only.
No, thrown out the back door like Fast Eddie Felton.
Oh boy.
Then for Best Actress in a TV Drama, Off Red came through.
Yep.
Claire Foy gets nothing, which means by default Olivia Colman wins next year, unless season 3 of The Queen doesn't come out till next year. I don't know where we are on that schedule.
Yeah, not going.
We previously mentioned.
Not going with Elizabeth Moss was one of those like instant regret things.
Oh.
TV is really bad for me because I have no point of reference other than the fact of what they've done in the past in television and mainly what they do in movies.
Sterling K. Brown, as we previously mentioned, for This Is Us and the actor stuff. And then Handmaid's Tale also getting TV drama. Hulu's first Golden Globe. Which, when you think about it, at least of the two big categories, if you don't count HBO's Big Little Lies, the two big awards went to Amazon and Hulu. So we're sort of following that trend because I think for the past couple of years, hasn't it basically been split between Amazon and Netflix?
Pretty much.
Crown won last year, and was it Mozart in the Jungle? Was that the year before?
I know it won. I don't remember what year it won.
I don't remember the show winning, but Guy Garcia Bernal did at one point.
Yeah, true.
Best musical or comedy. Thanks, Wikipedia. Thanks for the help. 2016. Oh, Atlanta won last year. Yeah, Mozart in the Jungle won back in 2015. That's where it happened. So yeah, I mean, overall, that's where we stand. 4 for Big Little Lies and 2 each for Miss Maisel and Handmaid's Tale. All in all,
seems kind of boring, honestly, when you really think about it.
It's not including the This Is Us 1 win and Master of None 1 win and the Fargo 1 win and everything. So
right.
Yeah, I was able to get through the entirety of Big Little Lies, and obviously anything positive I say about Big Little Lies is going to sound really, biased. But yeah, this isn't just, to me anyway, it doesn't feel like they're just kind of throwing it at one thing just out of laziness. It really did,
If I'd have remembered that it was all directed by John Mark Valet...
The guy that might as well change the name.
I'd have gone...
Working with me and you'll be showered in gold.
By the way, he also directed The Young Victoria.
I would have personally taken... I thought Woodley was stronger than Dern, but apart from that, this all makes sense.
Something I didn't know, he's already busy on his next series coming out this summer on HBO. Sharp Objects, based on Gillian Flynn of Gone Girl's famed novel, starring Amy Adams and Patricia Clarkson. So is that can we early contend that? Oh, and it's a Blumhouse show. Wait, what?
That does kind of sound like a combination that comes together really well.
And it's got a character that's all about self-harm, so there's a nod to 13 Reasons Why, which was one of Owen's favorite shows of the year.
You are correct. That is my favorite show of the year, actually.
It got an 8-episode straight to series. They didn't even need to pilot it, so there you go. And being written by Marty Noxon, who did, let's have a quick look, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, nice.
And the Tomb Raider script, the new one. Ooh. Along with some couple of episodes of Glee, some Oh, did I? I Am Number 4, that memorable film. But I'm trying to remember. Oh, and the Fright Night reboot from a few years back as well. So, you know, there's a lot of pedigree there, along with everything. So, expect to see that in 12 months' time, probably. So then we jump into the films. And AJ told us what to go for in foreign language, and even AJ didn't, and none of us did. I guess the campaigning for In the Fade worked, AJ.
It would appear so. And I knew...
Which then means... Does that mean it's a favourite, possibly, for... Well, I would say it's a definite now for Oscars, right?
Potentially. I knew that a famous actress was going to take the stage. It just ended up being Diane Kruger instead of Angelina.
Nah, she was later in the night. She was later in the night. It was... who's the actress that we had the... We had it like 2 or 3 times, the standing ovation for this person's actually alive. Yeah, that's it, Carol Burnett.
It was nice seeing Carol Burnett out there. It always is.
Also, it's worth noting that Aniston and Burnett were the only ones to give out 2 awards. Everybody else did 1.
There was that
apart from Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant has to do Dunkirk because he's British. Yay! Also, that fucking announcer and the star of Paddington Bear 2. It's not called Paddington Bear 2. We already know it's a fucking bear. It's Paddington 2. Dumb shit. Applause.
I didn't hear him say that, but I kind of wish I had.
See, he said Paddington Bear 2. It's like, idiot. We've got to reprint all the posters, guys. Paddington Bear 2, it has to be. Otherwise, people will think it's a different film. It's a documentary about the lives of people in Paddington Station.
Oh,
for real.
Boy.
Best animated feature, understandably, went to Coco. I wouldn't say there was any surprise in that, really.
No. I'm curious to see what gets nominated for the Oscar at this point, especially what happened with...
Although, I will say, nice nod to Loving Vincent in the Kirk Douglas package.
Yeah, there was a lot of Lust for Life in there.
Now Owen can talk about his favorite film because Desplat got score for Shape of Water.
That's right. It just made sense to me. Like I said, I mean, everybody on the panel gives me a lot of flack for this. And
it's only because I haven't seen it yet. I'm trying to correct that because I'm hoping it's some sort of mystery film that I get in the next week or so.
I mean, to be quite honest, I was really trying to see it again this week, but it didn't really pan out because I ended up doing other things instead. And plus, I worked a lot more than I was anticipating. So because of that, I literally was Dante the other day. I was not supposed to be there, and I still worked. But the thing is, it's one of those things. I think I love the movie. It's not my favorite of the year. My favorite still is Disaster Artist, and I can't wait to watch it again on Wednesday. So looking forward to that as well. Because I get to watch The Room on Wednesday too, theatrically. Finally, thank you, Fathom Events and Movie Pass. So one of the things about
are they doing that as some sort of? Are they doing that as some sort of talent exchange because of the cinema over here that basically shows The Room every few days?
I know there's a lot of cinemas that actually do that.
They do show the irony is that cinema is now doing a special one night only double bill of Riff Tracks Live.
I'm still not happy that here's what, since AJ and I have talked about this offline before, and I want to bring this up to everyone that's listening right now. But really, this makes no sense. They are running the Disaster Artist right now. They got it back just in time before the Globes and just before The Room would be coming out on Wednesday for the Fathom event. it is sharing with The Room, which makes sense. But the time frame is 1:45, and that's it. And the second showing in that theater is going to be The Room. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Like there should be like a 9 o'clock showing of The Disaster Artist, so you could actually watch them one after another.
One, I guess it depends on the cinema, and two, the original needs to be the main event, I would say. Because if it wasn't for how epically badly good the original film was, you wouldn't have had Disaster Artist.
Of course not. But the thing is, if you watch The Disaster Artist without knowing anything about The Room, it doesn't have as much impact as it could have. So I would say you would be able to watch both. You'd be able. My correcting suggestion is to watch it first and then watch it afterwards. But I mean, they don't give that opportunity because there's only one showing of the day, because the 7 o'clock showing is taken up by the 8 o'clock showing of The Room on Wednesday night. But again, we get into this basically saying the fact that I just love the music in The Shape of Water, and it's so.
He's back on that shit again.
No, that's where we are.
Sorry.
The score. Yeah. I love the score. It's really understated. I love what Del Toro does with all of his scores. I think they're all really. I use the word epic, but I also use the word as like very like. Just they're there, and that's what makes them work so well. They're just like they're memorable. Yeah, they're very understated. And that's what makes them work so well. And that's the reason I love the score so much. And I really am glad to see Desplat take it, because it made sense in my head.
I actually was starting to get... I'm now realizing that it really didn't go towards that at all. It was just Desplat and Del Toro. But it was like, once The Shape of Water won score, I became completely convinced, because it had the most nominations and they gave it score, that The Shape of Water was about to sweep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Del Toro's the only other thing it did. So
there was certainly that possibility. Then we get to original song.
What the fuck?
And
hey, once again,
I should have seen this coming
too.
I should have seen this coming because of La La Land. Hollywood cannot get enough of Pay Second Paul.
No, not at all. And I mean, like I said, I'm again a tad bit biased. Okay, extremely biased before AJ cuts me off and tells me, calls BS or something on me, because I'm sure he would. But I love Rewrite the Stars. Obviously, that's the song that I would be running. Or I don't know, maybe The Greatest Showman. The opening number of the movie itself, which is a show-stopping bit that literally
message though.
Message. No, it's not about it's about the message, and that's why This Is Me is the one that's running. I don't have a problem with this at all. I like The Greatest Showman a lot. I'm looking forward to watching it again sometime in the next week or two, and I'm okay with this happening. But it's weird. It's very weird to see. A song is, again, it's one of those things. It's just like, Remember Me is a great song. And I can imagine it being performed at the Oscars. I can imagine it right now. But I'm telling you, you have these show-stopping bits. And we're in a time right now that it's going to win style over substance sometimes. And that's what's going to happen.
For a little bit, I was convinced, because she was obviously up for another award, and because they kept cutting to her all night, that Mudbound might have had this too.
It's funny because Mudbound just went nothing tonight. They got nothing from
Netflix
Mudbound.
Died on its ass on films.
Pretty much. Again, just because of my personal bias, once more, the only person that I really feel sorry for in this situation
the most
probably Carrie.
The most important thing is Mariah Carey lost.
Oh,
also,
God.
worth noting, This Is Me is still a better song than Writing on the Wall.
Oh, yeah. Cassie says
from 2 years ago.
Cassie's happy The Greatest Showman won Best Song. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a choice that people will will probably be indifferent towards because everyone I know loves Coco. I don't know anybody that doesn't like Coco.
It certainly puts it though probably as a contender now.
It's in the running now for sure.
It's probably in the 5.
Definitely.
If we're going with 5, I don't know what we're doing.
I might go back to 3.
There's only one original song. We're gonna be confusing. There's one original song. By the way, with Desplat, sorry, that's only his 2nd Golden Globe.
Wow.
After 9 nominations. The other one was for Painted Veil. Which I don't even remember. Oh, that was that one with what was his name? Edward Norton, wasn't it?
Yeah, Naomi Watts and Liev Schreiber.
Yeah. And Toby Jones, god damn it, that man. He gets everywhere. Then we get to, I guess, the ones where half the people could have also been in contention, because the people that did the screenplays most of the time did the directing. So screenplay going to Martin McDonagh for 3 billboards.
Interesting.
Well, we must mention one more time, especially now we've seen the night's outcome, how they really wanted to screw Peele. Like they wanted to do everything, all the way from putting it in comedy and elsewhere. It's like all they wanted to do was piss Peele off.
Ashley just brought
also
that up
think
too.
about it. Think about it. Way to go, Universal. You did this because it's like, oh, it's guaranteed. Nope. We're not getting another fucking Martian.
I would still say this has no impact on its later chances, though. This was just kind of a weird thing to happen to get out, but I don't think it's anything too telling.
Well, we shall see. Honestly,
yeah. Well, when you see that it's included in other one, hell, I think both in the Writers Guild and the Satellite Awards, which I know we're not covering, but I just noticed it. I think Logan's up for adapted in both of them.
Yeah, it's in WGA for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's a difference about eligibility, though.
Well, I think it is because it's adapted from characters created by the X-Men people.
No. I'm talking about eligibility of other top contenders in the actual category.
Well, that's the fit. Have we established now that I think? Hang on, let me look to my Oscar picks.
I'm not. Don't give that up. Don't give that out yet.
Yeah, but I was looking at the list and everything. I believe Darkest Hour is now being considered original screenplay, not adapted.
Double A Vlogs asked, "What is the panel's thoughts on Kelly Clarkson and Keith Urban's performance gag?"
Get off the screen.
It was odd. I understand why they did it, but it was
they
kind of
did
out
it
of
just
place.
because they wanted to get a vocal credit on the bloody IMDb page. That's the only singing allowed on there.
I guess.
Apart from the feed that me and Owen watched, in which it was like, yeah, let's put some Shaft on, let's put some Mrs. Robinson on.
We're just rocking out some choice music during
let's
the
put
actual
on some Buffalo Springfield.
Break.
I love that they sang like 5 words, and you guys are like about to kill them.
Hey! Now, once again, that was more Ashley than me. I mean, I'm just like, okay. It happened. And Ashley was just Keith
Urban for me.
You might as well make.
Which genre does he want to be in? Which genre?
Okay, and
decide.
In Ashley's opinion, Keith Urban is probably liked about as much as James Corden is.
No. There's a special section of the filing cabinet for him.
Actually, you would have like almost every commercial break had a Peter Rabbit TV spot.
Oh, and that reminds me as well. I've seen the featurette with Margot Robbie. She can actually do a fucking English accent, which makes me wonder what the shit she was doing in Goodbye Christopher Robin. if she can do a good accent in an animated film, why couldn't she do it in a? I guess it's technically about an animated character because Winnie the Pooh and all that.
Right.
Technically. Jeez. It's like, after hearing her in that, I'm seriously like, is this the same actress? That makes me wonder now how shit the script was for Goodbye Christopher Robin. I want to put that in worst screenplay now for the Golden Raspberries, please. It won't win because the Emoji Movie will win, but you know.
See, that's the reason why this year I couldn't do a worst of the year list, because it's all would be made up of movies that I saw before.
It'd just be the Emoji Movie.
I never saw it, so I can't say that.
Worst pairing: the Emoji Movie and Fun. Anyway, moving on to director, and let's just get to the quote from the speech as the music was playing. Turn the music down. I've taken 25 years to do this. Yeah, at Del Toro's first ever Golden Globe.
Very nice.
I was having a hard time reading that reaction to Natalie Portman's comment because it honestly, that's what the whole night was like. Everybody was talking about, but when she said that, it sounded like the response was unfavorable. And obviously, it's the whole "Why isn't Greta Gerwig here?" But
thank you.
Yeah, I really could not read that response from the crowd.
In all honesty, the two that really shouldn't be in there are Ridley Scott and Steven Spielberg.
Scott's the biggest surprise. They must have really taken all the money in the world, or he wouldn't be there either.
Though it is very cool that a night he was nominated, they did the Thelma and Louise reunion.
I completely agree. I was very happy with that.
Oh yeah,
they didn't have him at the end. They didn't have him at the end of the night to give the award to Moonlight. I guess they were trying to replicate that, maybe, like get a pairing that you haven't seen in a while back together again on an award show, a la Bonnie and Clyde. So does that mean this year for the Oscars we're going to have Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta?
I would be okay with that.
Yeah, that was another thing from the red carpet. It's not going to sound funny as I describe it, but if you had seen it, you would get it. They were interviewing Sam Rockwell, and you know how sometimes you can see other celebrities kind of walking by in the background?
I love these.
Ridley Scott more or less had to squeeze himself awkwardly through this interview with Sam Rockwell as he was looking directly into the camera.
The ultimate photo bomb. Although I will say Ridley hasn't been doing a lot of good stuff, because in the past few weeks he's been saying, oh yeah, Blade Runner should have been shorter. That's what would have solved it from being popular at the box office.
It might have helped a little bit.
A little, but I wouldn't say it's like, oh, well, it would have been a drastic difference. Especially if bloody Blade Runner actually wins more Oscars than all the money in the world because of the special effects. Is he going to change his mind then?
Double A Vlog says Natalie Portman ate that shade.
But by the way, because I get to do it on here for the first time, fuck Netflix. They are taking the chance for me to watch Annihilation in a cinema. You know, the new film from
Alex Garland.
Oh, yeah, Alex Garland. That was going to get a cinema release and everything over here. Now it's Netflix? Nope, get a fucking Netflix account. Thanks, guys. Even Alex Garland's like, I'm hamstrung, but I'm also pissed because I wanted people to see it on the big screen, not on a computer or a TV screen. But that's how it goes. So even he's like, I'm not happy with it. Oh. You know, it's just because Natalie Portman came up and they mentioned Annihilation, so I was just like, fuck Netflix. And except I still find it weird that Netflix is like, oh no, you can't have any showings in the cinema. Apart for Bright, which is the other way round, arguably. I mean, AJ, would you feel more comfortable with seeing Bright? Because I know you reviewed it and everything. Would you Would it be comfortable more as a TV thing or as a movie thing?
I understand the whole approach everybody wants it to take with the whole TV thing, but I don't really. I still don't think there's definitely like I don't know. I think the subject matter in general isn't interesting enough to me to think it should do a TV format, but yeah. I can't tell if you mean it on TV or the TV series format.
Well, no, I mean, Bright. Does it feel more like a TV movie than it does like?
Oh, it feels like a real movie.
Screen. Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard conflicting things. So, then here comes the bit where AJ can get angry because Allison Janney wins for I, Tonya.
I don't even know if I have a fucking comment at all. And you know what? Honestly, you know what sucks even more? Not that the winner should be based on this or anything, but just as the way it lined up. To think that you could have had Laurie Metcalf win with Roseanne and John Goodman in the room.
Yep.
But yeah, I would like to think this is a one-off thing. I certainly hope.
The showrunner for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Roseanne Reiter.
Huh.
Irony of ironies.
It's all just a plug for the reboot, kind of like how almost everything with Oprah felt like a plug for A Wrinkle in Time, up to and including Witherspoon presenting it.
Oh God! Now I just realized that. Which, yeah, I'm going to quickly look at the list in terms of who. So Zac Efron did Greatest Showman. Okay, makes sense. Sarah Paulson Post, yeah. Seth Rogen is artist, yeah. Octavia Spencer Shape of Water. Why did they have to have Allison Janney and Sebastian Stan for I, Tonya? Why couldn't it just be
people
one or
to
the
hold
other?
up that giant pile of shit, I guess.
Also, because I'm seeing it here, I didn't even recognize Sharon Stone. All I do know is J.K. Simmons was a lucky fucker. Holy shit, that dress. We previously mentioned Hugh Grant for Dunkirk, which doesn't fit. Also, oh yeah, let's get a black person on for Get Out. Who's available? Oh yeah, Halle Berry. Some of the stuff like didn't make sense. Oh, speaking of that, okay, if ones that do make sense, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. Go ahead, AJ.
Let us not forget Salma Hayek for 3 Billboards.
That was the last one. I was going to come to that one last because Dakota Johnson made sense for Call Me By Your Name because Bigger Splash and the upcoming Suspiria remake.
I didn't put that together, but yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. Well, because I was looking through the list of the people and it was like, she makes sense to do Call Me By Your Name because of whatever. And then, yeah, Salma Hayek for 3 Billboards. The closest I could come, and AJ, you'll probably agree with Owen that this is a desperately bad reach. The only thing I could think of was the humor's similar to Hitman's Bodyguard, and they went, let's go with that. Woody Harrelson wasn't there. Woody Harrelson wasn't there or something.
You really gotta have your shoulder checked after reaching that far.
I know. Yeah. That's all I could think of, though, because it's like there's nothing there's no connection. Because, you know, she hasn't been in any of McDonough's projects ever. To be honest, it should have been just Ray Fiennes going, "You're an inanimate fucking object." 3 Billboards, everybody.
In the most sophisticated way possible.
Yeah. Of course. Because, you know, it's Ray Fiennes. Although it's spelt Ralph. Does that mean Ralph the dog from Blooming the Muppet Show is actually Rafe? Can we confirm that?
Oh, wow.
That'd be interesting. Hell, apparently,
say that from now on, that's what it is.
According to that, bloody.
Are you talking about Rolf?
Well, the thing is, when I think of Rolf over here, I think of Rolf Harris, who is a convicted.
Because I had to start. Wait a minute, who the fuck is Ralph the dog?
I couldn't think. I never saw that. I saw the Muppets movies, but I couldn't remember the name. I just remember Dr. Teeth.
Who is Ralph the dog? Has got to be one of the statements from the podcast tonight.
Ralph the dog.
It's ROLFE, I think.
It's Rolf.
Oh, like the angry video game nerd.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. It's spelled
the same.
No, it is no. Hold on, we're gonna get that confirmation right now.
This is the biggest thing.
It's
the awards. No. How do you spell Rolf?
It's ROWLF. I'm pretty positive. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is.
So it's spelled even differently. Wow. This is of course distracting us from the fact that Sam Rockwell's in the race for supporting actor now officially, I'd say.
Did anybody else happen to see when Rockwell was on stage, the camera was on McDormand, and McDormand was like telling the camera guy to get out of
the fucking way, I want to see this speech.
It's once again,
make that camera angle tighter, damn it.
we have to apologize to headphone users, RIP, for what Ashley just did.
Don't be listening to me on headphones.
I kind of have
to.
Do
it in 5.1 surround. Do it in 5.1 surround sound. Everybody watching on archive.
Yeah, I was hoping. I was hoping that there wasn't the same effect when I yelled at you for muting me right after the McDonough joke.
So. I did not mute you at all. I did not.
It was the. It was the wonders of technology, just being coincidental.
So yeah, I basically did.
Applause, please. Applause.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And Bloody Tommy Wiseau. I'm going to randomly walk up on stage, man.
He went to grab the microphone and Franco was like, nope.
No.
It's already a meme. I retweeted it already on my Twitter.
And the great thing as well, like, he could have walked off with James and Dave, but no, just went back to his seat. Like, what?
What I really loved about
your seat.
What I really loved about that was I had thought that Franco was building up to him talking, but no, he was trying to stop him from talking altogether.
I'll tell you right now, if something happened, Tommy and Greg are going to be at the awards moving forward. If something happens and Franco can win Best Actor at the Oscars, if he can beat Gary Oldman, then Tommy Wiseau is going to speak at the Oscars. That will happen. I guarantee you right now.
You did see the best bit though of that bit when the camera cut to Greg Sestero. His facial reaction was like, "Tommy, what the fuck are you doing?" He was like so disappointed.
It's like SMH. What are you doing? Seriously, you're lucky. It's crazy.
Like, some people might interpret it that he felt left out, but I think it was more he was afraid of the train wreck that was about to transpire, and he was happy he wasn't up there.
I agree with you on both of these.
But luckily, we avoided disaster. No pun intended.
Yeah. Also,
I mean,
if we're talking about moments from this past weekend, did anybody see the clip of Ansel Elgort being the real baby driver in the snow? He literally had the bloody red Subaru from the film and was doing donuts just in some park somewhere in the snow. So it was like, oh, I mean, he probably didn't do the stunts in the movie himself, but it's like, he might be able to do it himself. If we do a sequel, he might be doing his own stunts. He's the Tom Cruise. And then we get to the Irish American, Cerise Ronan. That sounds like a Jack Swagger joke, Owen.
Yeah, kind of.
This
by way of Seamus, of course.
Obviously, I found this category terrifying after supporting actress, but thankfully there was much relief.
There was much rejoicing.
It was going back to that, even though I haven't seen it yet because for some reason we don't have it yet. When it comes down to it, I do say right now that I was really happy to see Tanya Harding in the actual audience itself. That was cool.
Oh, she was actually there.
Yeah.
I only recognized Tommy Wiseau. Why wasn't P.T. Barnum there?
What?
I recognize I recognize Billie Jean King. She was there. Did win, but you know.
Ashley, there's a good reason why P.T. Barnum wasn't there. He kind of died in 1891.
I know. That's the same reason why Queen Victoria wasn't there. You know. That's why John Paul Getty wasn't there.
Yeah, fair point.
John Paul Getty. Yeah. So
I'm not sorry about your ears, AA vlogs. And no, sadly, no Queen Victoria and the crowd tonight. And
no,
apparently
Judi Dench couldn't be bothered to show up, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Judi Dench was not in attendance.
What was she doing? Let's see what movie she's working on to try and work out what
this is what Ashley does in the middle of a live show. He looks up random thoughts about what's going on.
I'm trying to find out what she's doing. Because if some of these people are here, half the time you basically know they're not winning. So it's like, okay, what are they doing instead? What the hell is Red Joan? Some film. I don't know.
This is why the wrestling podcast is so long as well. Continue.
Apparently, she's already been cast in the Artemis Fowl thing, so I guess she's reuniting with the Branner. I guess that's a thing that's going to start happening over the next few years. That's pre-production, though, so they haven't started filming. Speaking of filming, my God, it's taken 25 years. Frances McDormand finally won a Golden Globe outright.
Very much deserved.
The reason why I say 25 years is technically the entire cast of, was it Shortcuts? The Robert Altman film?
I believe so.
Got a sort of honorary Best Ensemble award back in 93.
And she also basically said that she's going to pay for everybody's bar tab tonight.
Probably can afford to.
Like tequila's on me, I believe was the exact wording.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and people were wondering about how the controversy has been affecting Street's chances. The room got pretty loud at the sound of her name. I think she's going to be okay.
Oh God, yeah, it was that bit in the bloody Oprah bit when she sort of did the meme from last year with the Oscars. Yeah, when she put her hands around her mouth and like shouted. It just became the random meme of last year's Oscars. When all of a sudden I saw her, even from afar, when I saw her get up and like put her hand up, like going, "Yeah, go Oprah," I was just like, the people that aren't very supportive of Meryl Streep are not gonna like this. Then again, it's Hollywood, so they won't give a damn. In that respect, they were even, when there were jokes were made about Weinstein and Spacey, they sort of groaned as if to go, that's too far. Which to me is like, considering all they've done to put trust in the film industry back years and years, surely they must be less cringy about it, you'd have thought. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know. Am I an idiot for saying that?
I mean, no one's dumb for their opinions.
I would say it was more of like a general discomfort than we disapprove.
Right. That's a good way to put it, actually.
Is it sort of as if like just bringing up the name is like, can we please not mention them?
Well, While Streep is here, how embarrassing now is that that joke from the beginning about the Post getting all the armful of globes?
Oh boy,
that kind of didn't happen.
No, it did not.
Too safe.
With how red Spielberg's face was, I started to believe that was actually like true. Like that was actually going to happen, and he knew something.
Seth Meyers saw the envelopes early because PricewaterhouseCoopers was still tweeting photos about Emma Stone's dress. And then warning headphones users.
Oh no. Well,
I guess. What were you saying before?
Before we go into you talking about Gary Oldman, Double A Vlog says it was awkward that the HFBA president wasn't wearing black.
To be honest, if you look at the dress, she looked way too much like Oprah Winfrey's character in A Wrinkle in Time.
It's come
trailers that I've seen. So then again, the president did hand out those 2 $1 million grants to the freedom of the press stuff, of which I think one of those 2 groups was the group that was behind the investigation of the Spotlight stuff, I think.
I believe
That's why they kept showing Liev Schreiber and Michael Keaton and anybody that was associated with that there. And I guess if we're talking the other appearance, Wayne's daughter did a decent-ish job.
Right.
Also, I think Dwayne was the only one that was allowed to be on the stage twice separately in the night. When you think about it. So yeah, Gary Oldman.
Well, I think this is clear. I think I said this before, but I'll go ahead and repeat it now that it's underway. I'm pretty sure this is the start of a streak, regardless of how much love Chalamet has.
That was the thing as well. Call Me By Your Name, when it got announced in all the times, got a lot of cheers. A lot of whooping and hollering and nothing.
People were trying to spread rumors, like on forums and shit, about how actual voters aren't really taking much to Call Me By Your Name or Get Out, but I think that's obvious bullshit. So,
also, I've just realised how busy Chalamet is, because of course you got Call Me By Your Name, but then he's also in Lady Bird and Hostiles. Hostiles only just opened here on Friday. I'm hoping to catch tomorrow. It's like, geez, that's a bit of prevalence, isn't it? Like, yeah, I'm just going to be all over your place. Sort of similar to, who was the one earlier in the year that had like 3 films? Oh, what's her name? Ruby Rose, is it?
Oh God, yeah.
She was in Resident Evil and like Triple X, like back to back.
And
John Wick Chapter 2. Yeah. Jeez.
Well, let's not compare.
I guess Chalamet is the one that I'm going to hate to see. No, yeah, it's not. It's only in the same style of there's a lot of films out at the same time, which just so happens to be award season. So.
Yeah,
but one thing I like as well, Darkest Hour took more money in China than it did in America in its opening week.
Interesting.
Still hasn't come out here. I think doesn't open until Friday here, Darkest Hour. So, ironically, we're the last to get it, despite the fact it's about Churchill. Irony, I guess.
Oh yeah, while we're on the topic of the Best Actor race, something I wanted to mention about Franco was the fact that obviously we can't put enormous stock in this because it's a totally different set of voters, but there was the case of, should Franco have been beat by Kaluuya, that the best actor race would be really different. And it would be, because there was kind of with Kaluuya getting in SAG and the reception that Get Out's getting, there's kind of been an uncertainty of where exactly Kaluuya lies. I'm honestly starting to get convinced that he is like in it, like in regards to nomination. But yeah, it is really the case. I know people would like Franco to be in this, but regardless of the comedy win, I think it's clear it's a two-person race now. And yeah, like I was saying, I think Oldman's going to be pretty comfortable from now on. Except maybe
I wouldn't count Franco out.
Nope, I wouldn't either.
But I think it's just between the three of Oldman, Kaluuya, and Franco. In all honesty. And then the other two will just be, I guess, Daniel Day-Lewis and Tom Hanks.
You watch Frank.
They might put in Denzel rather than Hanks. If they go with
Frank.
five.
I think
Franco.
Was your skipping of Chalamet intentional?
I don't know. I don't know whether there's enough momentum. I mean, to be honest, it depends on the if the BAFTAs are confident enough to go with Chalamet, which, to be honest, somewhat makes sense because he is up for that Rising Star. Of which case, why I love the fact that Barry Keoghan, despite the fact I said he'd be in there, isn't even in there. They just went with popular people. I can't even remember who was it. Rising Star Award.
I mean, at this point, it's pretty much SAG is going to be the teller of truth now.
As
just
always.
Like always. Yeah, just like always. And I want Franco to take SAG so bad, because if he can, then he's got a legitimate shot to win actor. And I've been saying it's not Sally Hawkins, it's not Crash, it's anything like that. But I mean, I have been saying since day one that I want Franco to win for his category this year, and I really want to see it happen. It's a very uphill climb, but I mean, this is a small baby step. But it's, honestly, it's a jump in the right direction. We'll see what happens as we move forward.
Oldman's a very steep hill.
I understand that, but I mean, it's not undoable. It's possible. It's not something that they're insurmountable odds, of course, but I mean, things happen every day and that you wouldn't expect to happen, and that would definitely be one of them at this point. But if Oldman wins SAG, and then it's just like, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, yeah, I might just go down with the ship. Like what I did with American Hustle, but still.
If Oldman wins the Critics Award, despite, Franco and Kaluuya being in there, that might probably already be the sort of the stamp of, yeah, he's got it.
It could be.
As far as, is that Critics' Choice you're referring to?
Yeah, the one coming up on Thursday.
If you look at, once again, I don't know how much they cross over or not, but if you look at the individual critics wins, Chalamet's got like a commanding lead.
Ooh. So all of a sudden he has to get put in somewhere. Thursday might be interesting.
Yeah, say the least. And we're moving forward now.
Yeah, well, we get to the big two.
Yep.
Lady Bird for Best Comedy Musical. Probably fair, but again, it truly sort of says what were Universal thinking trying to get out into that category. Especially when Jordan Peele wasn't embracing it, because to some extent, didn't Ridley Scott sort of just run with Martian being comedy musical.
Yeah, I think it was more onlookers that were like pissed off about it.
Right, pretty much.
And I tried not to get too up in arms because The Martian is hilarious. You can't really say the same thing about Get Out, even though it does have the satire approach. But yeah, it does make me wonder if the category is like, if that had to do with why it didn't do well win-wise, or if they just kind of didn't take to it. It's kind of hard to tell. Well, obviously, it doesn't matter with screenplay and director because they're not split up. But yeah, when I was predicting Lady Bird here, that was pretty much based solely on the fact that they didn't nominate Peel in screenplay.
I was very okay with being wrong here.
Yeah, I don't object to it. It's still one I've got to see. But
every one of the.
If you want to talk about any type of how this looks Oscar-wise, let us not forget that the Grand Budapest Hotel beat Birdman here. So
yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
going on some precedents. And look into previous years. Well, of course, the big one the year before was American Hustle.
Yeah, don't remind me about that. I really ate crow for that one.
And then 2009, The Hangover. I don't think that was even in the Oscar Best Picture stuff, was it?
Thank God not.
Nowhere in the Oscars. Like, it was, people were kind of thinking maybe it would have gotten an original screenplay or something, but no, it didn't do anything after that.
Yeah, I was very happy when that happened, for sure.
And then did Vicky Cristina Barcelona even make it in for the Oscars as well? I don't think it did.
I can't, obviously Cruise won. I can't remember if it got in screenplay or not.
I'm pretty sure it did. Without looking, I'm almost positive that it did.
That was the year like In Bruges and Happy Go Lucky were in there.
Yep.
And Mamma Mia.
And
Burn After Reading.
Very, very happy.
And
the Lady Bird one.
Yeah, yes, I said reading properly because I did it as an in joke, to Halle Berry on the red carpet earlier.
So happy that once again, AJ, I'm sure you're not gonna like. I didn't sound like you're really gonna like this season very much if we continue on this path. We are building 100% to a very distinct possibility that Greta Gerwig is going to be a Best Director winner before this year is over.
She's got. I'm betting on this, but still, I say this: she's got to get nominated first.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
I don't either, but just to be safe, I'm going to say that.
Doesn't DGA come out next week?
No, it's out.
It's the same day as Critics' Choice, the 11th.
Okay, so it's Thursday.
Oh no, yeah, it's not out yet. I was getting confused with.
Once she gets in for DGA, and then she starts winning, because I believe the only thing that she didn't get nominated for, it doesn't have a chance to get nominated for, obviously that's over, is the Globe, and that's when they ran Spielberg and Oliver Stone.
Well, yeah,
Scott.
I know what I'm trying to say. I made that mistake earlier. Sorry, it's been a long day.
If Tuesday comes and Greta's managed to get a director BAFTA nod,
I think it's very possible.
Probably definitively in the Oscar race.
Well, I probably shouldn't say this prematurely before we do the video, but I have it set in stone in my mind who I think is getting the director nominations. And I feel like maybe one or two of them could ultimately miss DGA. But I don't think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm being cryptic about that, but it probably should be obvious at this point who the five seem to be.
A Vlog says, hopefully Greta doesn't get left in the cold like Affleck. No, that's not happening. I don't see any way that's going to happen.
Wouldn't she more? Wow. I guess technically she'd be more comfortable to Bigelow.
She'd be more Bigelow, yeah, exactly. But either way, I mean, everyone here that's been listening for a long time knows my I guess you'd say my fandom for Greta Gerwig, and I've been very happy to be able to see a lot of her films theatrically after not being able to see a lot of her films theatrically, given the fact that they had such a very limited run. And I'm very happy to see what she's become, and she's turned everything from a writer now a writer director, and starting from an actress. And I'm telling you, I'm really happy to see the great things that are coming her way, and I really want to see her walk out with an Oscar, regardless which one it is or both this year.
I didn't even realize that Jordan Peele was the voice of the dying deer in Get Out.
Yeah, he's also the voice of the TV saying, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste."
Yeah, no, but it's like, make deer noises, Jordan. And then the curse. The curse falls on 3 billboards.
The curse that Moonlight broke last year.
You know. That got complicated by PricewaterhouseCoopers cocking up. Of course, the thing is as well, neither Lady Bird or 3 billboards could walk off with picture. That'd be the interesting thing, if it's like neither of them win, which is possibly feasible. We'll have to see how the other awards go in order to establish that. But yes, after all that, I'll go ahead, AJ.
I suppose this can be argued, and some people will have the directions they're coming from, but what I'm looking at here, it's really enticing to have no front runner.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I guess the biggest argument you can make is probably Lady Bird, maybe. But yeah, there's really nothing here with a front runner status.
Part of me is wondering, because we haven't got a clear front runner, does that mean we're going to have more Best Picture nominees? Are we going to go from, was it 8 last year?
I think we went back to 9 last year.
Can't remember.
I keep hearing we're going to have less, and that kind of like I keep hearing people say we could get like as little as 7, and that's kind of making sense because I don't really know. Because you look at the other stuff, like other options like The Big Sick or something, to where it's kind of like you think about it, but then you realize what it has to do to get into picture, and you're like, are people still that passionate about something like The Big Sick or something else that is not within the 6 or 7 here that seem really likely? Because there are 7 here that seem pretty much safe. If you count Call Me By Your Name. I know some people really lost faith in it after SAG, but yeah, and kind of the obviously the Post has been falling behind with the guilds as well, but then PGA kind of brought them back, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the way that like how everybody was saying that Bridge of Spies was dead in 2015, and I kept saying just wait for the PGA nominees, it'll be there and it'll be fine, and that's exactly what happened to Bridge of Spies. So it's a Spielberg-Hanks thing, I guess.
Just double checking. Yeah, there were 9 last year for the Oscars. It was that year where if you had a film that started with the second letter of the alphabet, you were screwed.
Pretty much.
Because in alphabetical order, the last is Moonlight. So yeah, scores on the doors as it stands is we're all on 10 points each.
Yep.
So rather than somebody having an early lead, nope, we might as well wipe the slate clean, and we're starting off level pegging again.
Pretty much. Until next week for the Critics' Choice Awards to see where we're going to go from there.
Not even next week. What? 4 days? Half a week.
I mean, now we're on Monday, so we've got Monday and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, it's 4 days.
Yeah, because we'll probably be talking on into the early hours of Friday because the award ceremony will go 59 hours.
Probably.
Did you notice that they shifted the Oscars by half an hour?
No.
They shifted it half an hour earlier. So I think it's starting at 8 Eastern, I think.
Finally. Because we make that damn mistake every year where it's like we think it's at 8, but there's that red carpet thing from 8 to 8:30, and the actual start time is 8:30. That makes much more sense if it actually starts at 8 this time.
Yeah, the Oscars pre-show will start at 6:30 Eastern, with the main show starting at 8. So yeah, they're shifting it half an hour forward, or for half an hour earlier, I should say. So on that logic, it might finish in or around sort of 11:30.
And
if we go on the reputation, it's normally about 3.5 hours at least.
And there was something you asked me the other day that I kind of half-assed the answer because the question kind of caught me off guard, but it is an important question, and I've been putting more thought into it about the whole. If we only had 5, what would they be?
Right.
I feel like the top 4 clearly are in no particular order.
Gotcha.
Get Out, Lady Bird, 3 Billboards, and The Post. And once again, I know people were saying The Post is falling behind because of the guilds, but I really think just the topic in general and the kind of movie it is, it would be in a 5-picture set.
Right.
So the question now is, which one? If you take Spielberg out of the director lineup, the question is which one's going to get in picture without a director nomination and which director is going to get in without a picture nomination, and that's clearly between Del Toro and Nolan.
Yeah, we were talking about Dunkirk being the one to challenge for Best Picture, and now it seems like it's kind of lost a little momentum too.
Yeah, so if we had a 5, I think both Nolan and Del Toro are in for sure. The question would be would Dunkirk not get in, or would The Shape of Water not get in? And I was initially saying Dunkirk, but I'm starting to question if The Shape of Water would be number
5. I honestly feel it's more likely that Dunkirk is going to get Best British Film at the BAFTAs than it is Best Picture.
The Shape of Water obviously has the upper hand with getting all the acting attention.
Yes,
right,
as well.
But sometimes that's not necessarily always the case.
Correct.
Because Dunkirk, I mean, The Shape of Water and stuff like Blade Runner are going to give it a run for its money, but I mean, Dunkirk just kind of comes off like it'd be one of the technical juggernauts. But yeah, with those 3 movies in this, the technical categories are going to get really interesting too. So yeah, it's really hard to say, but I would say that's where we are in regards to that. And then Call Me By Your Name is probably under them, and then that would be 7. Then it's just a matter of what's left, if there are any more slots for something like The Big Sick or something.
It depends on It depends on if there's going to be any. I hate to use this terminology, but padding for the Oscar Best Picture lineup.
I was starting to think Mudbound before it got snubbed at PGA.
I think Mudbound might be done. Unless, well, except for Mary J. Blige, potentially, and the song itself.
Which is still her.
So it's her in general, exactly.
I guess the other question that we could talk about is the music situation. In terms of nearly all the women not getting played out and the majority of the men getting played out much quicker than the women. I mean, I understand, especially considering everything that happened, but to me, it partly just felt like Nicole's speech went on a little too long at the start compared to even some of the later women. Part of me wonders whether that's just Kidman getting the chance to be Kidman and whatever. I guess the only one that sort of butted it out was Del Toro. And they basically realized, no, let's give him his credit. But yeah,
he did the thing
the amount of times
did where he literally said, knock it off.
Yeah. As I say, I've had 25 years to get this moment. I'd like a chance, please.
It's like the Charlie Murphy thing, basically like saying, next person comes up to me, I'm going to kick him right through the window.
Just having a quick look. Oh, they haven't announced yet who's doing the nominations announcements for BAFTA.
Del Toro pulled a Taraji.
True. So yeah, there's no news on who's doing the nomination for BAFTA. You know, like they announce who does the nominations for the Globes and the Oscars and everything. Although the one thing we will find out on Tuesday is who's hosting, because Stephen Fry's stepping down. So I'm intrigued to see who they go with.
I'm gonna doubt it, but good God, I hope it's Graham Norton.
Well, when you think about it, I think he did it 2 years ago when Stephen Fry didn't do it because of the.
I don't think
no, Stephen.
I would have remembered that.
No, you're right. It's was it the TV ones then?
That could have been.
Because I think the last year's BAFTA TV Awards was done by Sue Perkins, rather than Norton. I can't remember what happened. So I'm just having to look for articles. Oh, it doesn't actually say. It doesn't specify why he was replaced. I don't know. So if that's the case, then I'd say he'd be the clearest equivalent. If he wasn't working for the other station over here, I'd have thought that it probably would have been Jonathan Ross as well.
Yeah, because I remember he used to pretty much go back and forth between them.
Yeah, he originally did it before Fry stepped in, from what I vaguely remember. So, yeah, Norton, I think, probably is a bet. Also, apparently, there's going to be a Cirque du Soleil performance as part of the BAFTAs. Because apparently they've got a residency show at the Royal Albert Hall, which is hosting the event again for like 4th or 5th year straight. That'll be weird. But yeah, they'll announce who's hosting on Tuesday, and as I say, there's no clue. Normally they do try and drop a hint as to who's doing it, but like, no. Thanks, BAFTA.
All right. I think on that note, that's our show.
Yeah, bit busy few days. What with the DGAs, and the BAFTA nominations, and of course the Critics' Choice Awards, which I guess is when we're on next, Owen.
Yep. Well, I mean, we should be back on Monday for Raw, but I mean,
yeah, but I'm trying to work out how I can watch the CW.
So yeah, we're back here next week. We're back here in a couple days for the Critics' Choice Awards. We're going to be doing a BAFTA prediction soon. We'll be doing the Guild predictions very soon, and our final Let's Predict every single category of the Academy Awards predictions very soon as well. So stay tuned for those. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK.
Ashley's still yet to be titled Sip and Snacks are going to be coming in the near future. Gaming with Ash will be returning soon. Our wrestling content is going to be here on Monday. And, of course, on Wednesday, I will be going to see The Room thanks to Fathom Events. So we will be doing a wrestling video. Ashley do a wrestling video of sorts talking about some of the goings-on. And AJ's back here next week for AJ's movie reviews and versus. And
but then he cannot best of the year video soon.
Yeah, best of the year coming. Worst of the year is out now too. If you want to check those out, and best of the year should be coming very soon. So stay tuned for those. And AJ cannot be found on social media, but if you'd like to send him a message, you can leave a comment on one of the videos, or you can send me an email, SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. Follow the network on Twitter at Popcast Network. Follow me on Twitter at SirOwenDisney. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. And I want to thank everyone for listening and joining us tonight, whether live or an archive. And I want to thank everyone for joining us for our awards coverage in 2018. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
10 seconds till we're back. 8, 7. Get in your seats, please. 3, 2. Applause.